Welcome to Losing the Fifth Day. My name is Ketcha the Seventh, and today I'm joined by a fellow co-host, Shanaha.
Hello.
Okay. and and AOG.
Hello, hi, hello everyone.
And thank you for everybody who's coming here today. And today we have a special guest, really good friend of mine. So glad we could finally get him on. Flossinonyou. Oh, that is not your name. I'm so sorry. It's Flossing
It's
with
not
you.
my name.
Yeah, it's Flossing with you. Forgive me. But what's up, friend? I'm glad you could make it.
No, I mean you got it right. It's flossing on you, but
Oh,
I'm
it is
happy to
on
be
you.
here.
I was gonna
Yeah, I
say
think you're a little
when
tired.
Yeah,
when did
on you,
Flossin change
with
his
you,
name?
at you,
Bro, I always thought it was
Flossin
with you.
nonetheless.
Now, should I start like dancing with you guys or something?
Yeah, Flossin with you. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good idea. But hey, man, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Really happy to be here.
Yep. I'm AOG's mad at me because couldn't make it last time. But hey, we're back. We're back in action.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you stayed awake this time, Stun the Seventh. It's good to have you.
Hey, I'm sorry we have to do this at 2 fucking a.m. in the morning.
Hey, me and Shanna have to get up early as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a smooth ride for us.
But yeah, man, we got a really nice show today. Forgive us in advance. Me and Flossin are big Obol squad glazers, so that might happen later in this podcast. I apologize in advance.
Hey, I mean, if you're gonna go for anyone, at least it's Anby, huh?
Who's that? I'm
The
intrigued.
face of the game.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was
talking about
baiting. I
Trigger.
was baiting so hard. Okay,
Yeah, I was talking about Trigger.
so Shanna and I last week we chatted quite a bit about Ambi 2 and Trigger. So our thoughts are kind of already out there, and I'm sure we'll probably also make videos on it. But I guess I wanted to get your hot takes on it to start us off. Floss and Kate, how are we feeling? Let's start with Ambi 2 before you get on to Trigger. How are you feeling about it?
I'll let the man of the hour who spoke it into existence go first. Go for it, Flossin.
Oh man. Um I'm not even sure where to start. Uh of course I'd say that I'm very excited. I did not expect Obol to come this soon. When I made my initial video of kind of complaining about Soldier and everything with Obol, I sort of expected Obol Squad to come maybe like 3 or 4 patches later down the line, maybe like 2.0, 2.1. So for them to arrive this early is kind of amazing. Definitely a Christmas gift for me. Um, I I'll say I'm excited about Ambi and Trigger, more specifically Trigger, but for sure, like waking up, what was it, like 2 in the morning and seeing drip marketing for Ambi was absolutely insane. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Ambi is going to kind of still stick uh to her core fundamentals as her 4 star or A rank as far as like her combos work. I'm sure most of you guys know that Ambi's kind of she's got like 2 combos going. She has one where you can spam and the other one where you can time.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of been a playstyle that I've really leaned into. It's kind of why I liked Soldier plus Obol since the beginning. Is that it's got like a timing sort of thing you have to do. So I'm hoping that Ambi will still lean into that. We'll have to see. I'm not too sure. I've seen a couple things on her, but I don't really know how her combos work. So we'll kind of see.
Hmm. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I kind of hope they keep that timing thing in place because I fucking hate it. And I'm skipping so hard.
Just be nice
uh,
to have it be more interesting, so it's not just spam. Like Soldier 11 in 1.0, when she came out, she was like the one unique
yeah, that
attacker.
is true.
Well, I guess there weren't that many, but like it was like, oh, you actually have to pay attention and actually put effort into playing her. It's not just mash the attack button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kazak, how are you feeling about Ambi 2?
She's alright. Um, I think she looks good. No, for being serious, I think if I were to give her like a rating on 1 to 10, but if you come to my streams, I rate shit at 1 out of 10 bang boos. I would give Anby 2 an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 bang boos. I think she looks great. It's just I give Trigger a fucking 15 out of 10 bang boos. So like that, I'm just so ready for Trigger, bro. But Anby looks really good. We all know where the burgers went to.
Where?
That was
Where did they go?
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, what?
Grew an extra sword. That's what happened.
Ah,
Yeah,
the extra sword. I see.
True.
yeah. That's where the burgers went to. Yeah,
Just wanted to get you
I'm,
to
I'm
say
glad.
it, but okay.
Glad you could make use of it.
Okay. Well, so are you only excited for Ambi 2 then because of the idea of Trigger? I mean,
I'm probably gonna get her.
yeah,
No, I'm probably gonna get her. Like I said, I really like Obol Squad. Um, I'm hoping that we get more next patch. I highly doubt it. Like they got me kind of paranoid now because of the Stars of Lyra. They just said, "Oh, here's 2 of them, and you don't get them the next patch." So like we can't even make a full team of Stars of Lyra yet. So I'm kind of paranoid. I don't think we're gonna get the rest of the Obol Squad next patch at all. Now, but hey, you never know. Hoyoverse can do whatever they want. But I'm a big fan of Obol Squad, and I'm gonna definitely get Ambi. But man, I've been saying it for months now. I have more than enough footage to back it up, from streams and videos. There was 2 characters that I anticipated the most in this game. One is Lighter because boxing is my favorite sport. I love badass male designs, so love Lighter, right? He fits my alley, and fire is also my favorite element. And then also Trigger, just from the first cutscene of just hearing about Trigger and just getting the concept art, and turns out the concept art was pretty much damn near spot on.
yeah, that's true.
I was like, yeah, this is the character after Lighter that I want the most, and I really fucking hate Hoyoverse for releasing her so close to Lighter.
I
Hmm.
mean, it wasn't that close. It was what, like 4 months? So?
Like, bro, like, can you give me at least like half a year to like? This?
Well, I think when
I
we're
wasn't ready, bro.
when we're talking about Stun the Seventh here, and his desire to M6 every stun agent,
This is not true. This is not true. But it is true that all my favorite designs are fucking stun agents. So people are saying that the next big character that comes out that I really like is guaranteed to be a stun, and that's a good and bad thing for the community because that means if one of my next favorites is one of your favorites, viewers who are watching, I'm sorry, they're destined to be a stun agent. I am so sorry.
do you like Vivian?
I
How
am
are you
so
feeling about Vivian?
um. Oh, you mean okay? I know you're talking about. Yeah, I like her a
Umbrella
lot,
Girl, yeah.
but I don't like her more than Trigger, so she should be safe.
And Hugo?
He might be fucked. Like I said, I like badass male designs. Because I've been playing gacha games for 10 years, and most gacha games I play only have females. So it's really nice to be able to play as badass male designs sometimes. Just to switch it up. And I'm really looking forward to Hugo. I'm so sorry for Hugo Wanters. He might be a stun. I'm so sorry for this curse. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
Well, at least we know, you know. Vivian's
I-
safe though. That's good.
Yeah, Vivian should be safe. That would be funny if she was like an ether stun. That'd be so funny.
No, I doubt it though, but yeah. Would be funny though.
Stunning you with an umbrella, bro. That'd be so funny.
Okay, so do you want to talk more about Trigger then? So no, I forgot what I was going to ask. It's probably not important, honestly. But yeah, let's talk more about Trigger then. So how we feel about Trigger then? Flossin, let's start with you.
Ooh, I I cannot express how excited I am for Trigger, not just because she's Obol, but because I can finally have a redemption arc of getting an electric stunner on my account
Yeah.
because oh my goodness, as much as I love A rank Ambi, she is just so inferior to Chingy, and I feel like I'm in that meme with like Squidward, like watching SpongeBob and Patrick like have fun. It's like everybody with Chingy versus me. Oh
Hmm.
God. Yeah, I've been coping with not having Chingy for a very long time, and my account is really starting to feel it. So Trigger coming out is very great, very exciting. Aside from that though, just Trigger being in the game in general, I'm super excited. Super excited.
Yeah.
I I'm really happy that we're finally gonna get to like play into these different type of agents, kind of meaning like triggers a sniper rifle. I don't really know what she's doing right now, so I'm kind of looking forward to the next live stream as far as what they're gonna do with her.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like having these like crazy characters with different weapon types and things like that. This is like sort of the type of gotcha game I've been looking for as far as team building and having like different varieties. So we'll have to see. I'm really excited for her.
Yeah, I guess it's not necessarily always a case of if it's electric and stun, then they're going to be the same type of character. So they're clearly going to go in a different direction with her because she's meant to be a sniper, right? So she's going to play differently, and I think that is kind of the most exciting thing about her. I guess my follow up question though is, so you mentioned about not having Chingy. Are you going to
Mhm.
consider Chingy on the rerun, or are you going to just wait for Trigger? Probably, maybe wait for the live stream. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna wait till near the end of patch 1.5 to kind of figure out where I want to go. Um,
Yeah.
but if I do want to sort of future proof my team with Chuyuin, I'll end up grabbing Xingyi. Um, we'll see though. We'll, I don't know. We'll have to see.
So are you still playing a lot of attacker teams? Did you skip out on the anomaly meta?
No. So I actually I pulled every anomaly agent that came out besides Yanaki. Um, so my account is kind of built for anomaly
Hmm.
esque teams, but I've kind of been getting tired of it. Is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and I guess you're
mo-
known as the Soldier 11 guy as well, so you kind of want to play the attack teams, I guess.
yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. And as much as I love the anomaly characters that have come out, the anomaly playstyle has gotten a little bit mundane to me. Because like each character is different as far as like how they fill up anomaly bars, but ultimately like the playstyle is still the same. Fill up the bar, disorder, switch, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm kind of hoping for something like new to dip my toes in.
yeah, I kind of get that, but I feel that way about stun though. I don't know how the rest of y'all feel about it. I think we're tangenting here pretty hard, but I kind of feel that stun is more what's the word? It's kind of the same thing as anomaly, really. You're just filling up a different bar.
Eh,
I can agree
for
with
me,
that.
at least,
Yeah.
stun feels a little bit more nice because with anomaly, like you'll see it if you play like a Miyabi team or something like that, where the entire fight is just like the plays the exact same start to end. Just switch, 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 fill up the bars and stuff like that. With the stun, at least, like there's two like well-defined phases. Like yes, you're still filling up bars, but like there's a well-defined stun phase where like you're using the one agent and it's for a purpose, and then once you get that stun window, you have that like okay, it's go time, switch. Whereas with anomaly, it's just like you don't really get that big impact of like oh shit, now it's time to do the damage, which is like I mean, I know you're doing damage all the time, but I don't know, that little like dopamine when you get that stun window in an attack team is just really fun, for me at least.
Yeah, no, I do understand that. I just feel like it's nice to do damage all the time, and then it's not that stun windows don't exist on anomaly. It's just that you're not paying that much attention to when they're coming along. I don't know. I feel kind of the same about both playstyles. That's kind of what I'm saying. Is that like yeah, anomaly is it's fun to play, but stun is also pretty fun to play, and they feel kind of very similar. Just filling up bars. I get what you mean though with the different phases, though, Shanna. That does make sense to me. Kete, what are you saying? Stun the seventh.
I love how like Stun the Seventh has literally just become my name in the last couple weeks. It's crazy, bro. Because you're talking to a guy who's just I've at this point I've just embraced it because like we said earlier, for some fucking reason, all my favorite characters are stun agents, so I just started building all my stun agents as DPS. I did I did a M1 because my Shingi's M1. I did an M1 Shingi DPS on the Deadly Assault on the last rotation against the Ether Mech, not the newest one that just came out. Um,
Oh yeah, I saw your
and
video. Yeah.
yeah, I got 50K on one of my first few tries, and then Yoji made a video because I was talking to him like how to improve it, and he made a video with the same team, and he got 60K because he also had an M1 Shingi, and so like I try to like get his improvements. I'm not quite good enough to get the 60, but I got to like 57 off stream. So it's like I've been playing so much stun agents as DPS. I'm just so used to my DPS also being the stunner. So like when I went back to Ellen Joe, I was like, why the fuck is he not stunned yet? It just felt so weird.
I
So
feel like yeah, maybe you should just change your name. Stun the seventh. Just lean in.
yeah, it genuinely feels so weird playing like Ellen or Soldier now because I'm just so used to like my damage dealers just stunning the motherfuckers and also. So I don't think I have a relatable mindset on stunners anymore, to be quite honest.
Actually, that is kind of fair to be. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Well, yeah, Flossin was yapping about Trigger though. What are your thoughts on Trigger?
My wife. Anyways, oh, I know one thing, she's gonna have recoil, but in all seriousness, in all seriousness, she's definitely gonna be pretty much. You don't even have to go and look up dreams. You, she's gonna be the opposite of Shingi. It's quite obvious, right? Hoyoverse is not stupid. They're not gonna release two S rank agents back to back that do the exact same play style. They're just not gonna do that. So she's definitely gonna be basically just the complete opposite of Shingi, which I think is perfectly fine. But
Yeah,
that also puts her in a weird situation because if she's the opposite of Shingi, I'm trying to think of the agents that she could work with. Me and Flossin
Yeah.
were actually talking about this earlier, because Flossin, huge Soldier 11 simp,
mm-hmm.
he wants to use Soldier with Trigger sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Of course.
it really fucking sucks that the vast majority, I don't know if it's all, someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think the vast majority of enemies that are fire weak are electric resistant, and the vast majority of enemies that are electric weak are
Yeah.
fire resistant.
I guess vice
And
versa. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
the one thing that Flossin didn't know is if your stunner is off element, they stun significantly slower. If especially if they're resistant, if the enemy is resistant to your stunner's element. So if he wanted to bring Soldier and Trigger together against a boss that was fire weak, electric resistant, Trigger's gonna stun significantly slower because Day's damage also goes off of what the enemy is weak to. So it just seems like natural anti synergy, which is weird because they're both Obol squad.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know,
we don't really know that much about her kit though. So I'm guessing though she can't really be more universal than Chingy,
And
right?
Chingy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that she's been specifically designed around Anby would be my guess, or potentially to work with Soldier 11 as well. I think we'll know a lot more as we get closer to it, and I think Flossin's call of waiting towards the end of 1.5 to make the call on who he's going to pull is probably the right one. Uh, and the answer for Soldier 11, it might still be Chingy, right?
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
don't tell him that. Let Flossin play his. So don't take that away from him.
Yeah, I mean, from a lore perspective, though, yeah, running Trigger and Soldier 11 together is that's hype as fuck. You should do that.
Yeah, don't take that away from him.
hmm
I also
You-
wanted to say, are you guys kind of big on the Zenless lore at all?
Oh, dude. Yes. Hello. What's up?
bro? I'm so
Okay.
okay.
Let's
Wait,
talk.
That's Shanna's
Flossin.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
You don't
just wanted to
understand
say
what you just
like
did.
oh did I activate
You know,
some neurons?
as soon as you said lore, I almost said, "Oh shit," because I knew Shanaha was.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna be like, yes, me. Anyway, carry on, Flossin. What's up?
Um, so I've kind of I've had like this like mini theory that I'm kind of going with. So Soldier, she always talks about a traitor, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
The first thing that comes to mind is probably Anby.
Yep.
And so when me and Ketse were talking earlier, we were talking about the resistances like fires never with electric, yada yada.
Mhm.
So what I was sort of thinking is that maybe Trigger is like on Ambi's side or something, and then there's like another Obol member that's out there. I think their name was Seed Ketse. I don't know.
I think so. Shanaha can confirm.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
are like
So
other Obol members. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking like maybe if Trigger doesn't work with Soldier, maybe they're setting that up for Seed, which maybe they'll be like a physical fire kind of character, which will align well with like the weaknesses in the game or something like that. Um, I don't know. We'll have to see though, but I'm very excited to see like how the lore plays out, especially for Anby. I don't know if like she's gonna see Soldier and it's gonna like trigger something that like activates.
I get it.
I don't
Trigger
know.
something.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. Just my little mini theory.
No, that's fair.
Mm.
I mean, Ambi, if I remember correctly as well, like just to continue to talk about this lore stuff, uh, my stream made me watch the original Soldier 11 trailer that I think released before the game released, and Ambi 2, Electric Boogaloo, is actually in that trailer. Like you can see her shadow and her face, and it's her voice is in that trailer, and she seems like she's Soldier 11's like teacher or something.
Yeah.
So
like Flossin said, trainer. Yeah, like a superior or something.
yeah, so I think that the dynamic between those two is going to be really really interesting, and I do hope that they get to. I mean, they're both Obol squad, right? So, I mean, are they Obol squad? Is it still faction unknown for Ambi?
I mean, technically, but I
Yeah.
mean, it was the same
Right.
thing with like Jane, where I think they're just doing it for lore reasons. So like, oh, is she who knows where she's from? Because like maybe there are people that like they didn't do the Soldier 11 story and stuff like that, so they don't know about like any possible connections. So for them, it might still be a surprise, you know.
Yeah, I guess maybe, but yeah,
Yeah, I think somebody's getting fired though at Hoyo versus Chinese website because they forgot
Yeah,
to
they.
take out
Oh
Obol
yeah.
Squad.
That's what I was literally. You read my mind.
did they
Flossin.
put
I was
Obol squad
literally
up when they
gonna say,
put her up?
Yeah. So
Oh shit.
Yeah.
like the day they dripped Ambi, the Chinese side, they didn't take down the Obol squad. It was.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so we don't have to pretend that we don't know. It's just Obol squad.
Technically not confirmed, but most likely Obol.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I think just to before we move on, because Shanaha and I yapped quite a bit about Ambi 2 and Trigger last podcast, but I just wonder if your thoughts have changed at all, Shanaha.
Not really. Like, I'm still excited for Trigger. Like Ete was saying, she's gonna be different from both Chingy and Laito because they always have to innovate with each new agent. I don't want to say like power creep, but more like feature creep. So she's gonna be new and unique, which is really exciting. Anby, yeah, I'm also like, again, like similar to how we were talking about maybe having the timing stuff like that. Hopefully she has something new and interesting as well.
Hmm.
But we'll have to wait and see till that live stream.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think to be honest, I know I said it earlier about skipping Ambi 2, but I feel like what they're doing right now is they're kind of giving us the option between these two attack characters, between Evelyn and Ambi 2. And then I think when Evelyn comes out and then we go into live stream, Ambi 2 will look really appealing for like a different team. But you're not going to want to run those two together, you know?
Yeah.
So I think they know what they're doing. They're kind of giving us the option of which attack character do you want. And I do think that Ambi 2 is probably going to have something cool built into her kit. Sorry, if you had a brain wave.
It is just a dumb joke. It's literally the red pull or the blue pull.
Oh, that's a
Fire attacker versus electric
that's
attacker.
that's a thumbnail idea right there. Well done.
I'm fucking stealing that. Stealing it from myself.
Yeah, cool man. What was I saying? Yeah, I think it's giving us the choice between those two. And I think to be honest, I'm Team Evelyn right now. And I can't see that changing unless Ambi 2 looks amazing. But I don't think I'm gonna wait till the live stream. I'm probably just gonna pull Evelyn towards the start of the patch. So yeah, that's kind of where I am on it. And then at that point, I'll have so many different teams that it doesn't really make sense to pull for Ambi 2 unless she does something really interesting and exciting.
Did you pull for Astra?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, he has 70,000 polychromes. He can pull anything he wants.
Yeah. Well, because I made the deal that I would only pull one character per patch, and now at this point, sitting on nearly 70,000 polychrome, I'm like, maybe I should just start spending this polychrome though.
Yeah, so while I have to pull out my credit card, AOG's just sitting on his throne of polychromes.
I have
Above
skipped.
luck gamer.
Yeah, above luck gamer. Yeah, I have been kind of lucky, and I have skipped a lot at this point. So I kind of made the deal that I wasn't gonna, what's the word, pull more than one character per patch to kind of emulate that free to play low spend experience. But at this point, it feels like the game is being so generous, not just because I'm being lucky, but with how much you get for freezies anyway, that it does feel kind of reasonable to kind of heavily invest into one side of things and then kind of skip something else, if that makes sense. So the way I'm thinking about it right now is that if you saved pre-Astra, maybe you got a little bit lucky on Miyabi, or maybe you didn't feel like you wanted Miyabi. I think it's quite reasonable to assume that you could probably get Astra and Evelyn,
Mhm.
even as a free-to-play or low-spend player. I'm just talking myself into the fact that Evelyn is hot as fuck, boys, and I don't know if I can say no to that jiggle.
Bro, dude, I had people make 3 different clips of my stream last night from my Evelyn demo reaction. Jesus, oh my god, dude, she is she's crazy.
She's crazy. Yeah. But Shanna, on the subject of Evelyn, you got early access. You got to play Evelyn early.
I did, yes.
Yeah. How are you feeling about Evelyn? Just like your general feel on her, because I'm sure we've probably all seen your video and other people's videos. But yeah, how are you feeling about Evelyn?
So in terms from like, so I'm not normally a meta guy, but like, I don't think she's gonna be like, I don't think by any means she's a must pull meta DPS
No.
agent. But I mean, that's fine, as always, pull for who you like. And honestly, in terms of what I like Evelyn, not just from like the looks and stuff like that, taking off the jacket to power up, always really cool. But like we were talking about Anby earlier, the having, something that's not just mash the attack button, just having something that's fun to play. Like she's a lot more involved. It's kind of like Harumasa, where I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, Harumasa's playstyle. It's a lot more involved to get, similar levels of DPS as just holding down the attack button with others, but it's more fun to play at least. The whole, I mean, like again, coming back to the meta discussion, one of her big selling points is, oh, she can group up enemies, which is incredibly niche, right? It's mainly just for that first wave of enemies in a Shiyu defense before,
Yeah.
the big boss comes in. Like, it's incredibly niche, but it's still cool nonetheless. And then the whole, like, I think a lot of people, when they first, like, I made a video about this as well, before even the review, that slight mechanic of, that doesn't really get touched on very well on the tutorial, but the fact that you can cancel her skill into her basic attack combos to retain her little
Garrot.
binding
Yeah.
seal state buff.
Yeah.
Like that, realizing that makes it such a big game changer because it's like, oh, I can have like permanent uptime now on this buff. I can actually like stay in this and consistently deal out like just fire damage because you get to skip those first 2 hits. It makes it a lot more fun to play.
Mm. Yeah, I was also thinking as well. I wonder how fast she can build up anomaly. As in, when I get her, I'll probably will test this. Like, if you're going EX special into basic 345 and only doing fire damage, A, that sounds fun, and B, I wonder if you ran her with AM, like how fast could you build up that fire?
Probably pretty decent because I mean,
Yeah, probably
it's similar
pretty
to
decent.
like
Yeah.
it's very similar to Yanagi's thing, right? Where when you use her EX special, she goes into that state where she only uses like the 345 on her basic attacks, and that's like we know that she does really good at building up anomaly. I mean, to
Exactly.
be fair, she is an anomaly agent, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and her garrot thing is pretty cool with the 25% crit rate buff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just means it's going to be really easy to hit her crit rate kind of breakpoints. And I think it hangs around for
Especially
10
with
seconds, the buff.
Yeah, especially with
doesn't
the free
it? Yeah.
Makoto Desire engine that we got recently, which is also
Yeah.
an attacker engine which gives like 20% crit rate at max rank.
Yeah, I've got it fully leveled up. I'm ready to go with Makoto Desire. I think that'll probably be what I run her with. But yeah, she seems pretty cool. I'm kind of excited. I think that like from a design and playstyle perspective, she seems very fun, kind of like Jane Doe, except Jane Doe's now the 4th best anomaly agent, guys. Lawson and Kete, how are you feeling about Evelyn?
Lawson, go first.
Okay. At first,
Okay, wait.
I was
Let's just
reluctant.
clarify again, Flossin. Soldier 11 main. Soldier 11 main ranks new fire DPS. Okay, go.
Oh, there's two sides of this. It's my whole Discord can either be mad or the whole internet. I don't know.
Which
No,
side are
but
you taking?
uh, I'll be real. I know that Evelyn's gonna be better than Soldier. That doesn't bother me at all.
Mhm.
Evelyn also looks really, really fun. I won't lie. When she was first drip marketed, I was actually joking about her being Soldier 11 too. I was gonna bitch Soldier, but I've kind of leaned into playing Soldier more and more. I also pulled another Brimstone, so I'm kind of debating on whether I should refine it or not for Soldier.
Oof.
Um, but Evelyn looks fun. I'm happy that the playstyle is there for people who didn't get Bernice. Um, they'll be able to pick up a very good fire agent now. Um, on top of her insane synergy with Astra, if people were lucky enough to grab her, just being able to activate those chain attacks over and over is something that she really benefits from, which is great. Um, Also, like all of you said, she looks incredibly fucking hot. I can't tell you how many times I watched the trailer. Jesus Christ. Um, but I haven't really dove much into her because I kind of like waiting till like things go live. But I did see Shanaha's video as well as Muzzy's, a couple other people,
Yeah.
um, and it looks good. I actually forgot that she has crowd control, which is insane with the binding thing. When I first saw that, I was staring at Soldier 11 and I was really sad, but but it looks good. It looks fun. I'm happy that she's here. You know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Kate, what about you? What are you thinking?
Well, because I actually had Muzzy on my stream yesterday,
Mm.
and I we were watching his video after it came out like an hour later, and I had him on call with my entire chat. We had like I want to say it was like almost 200 people there with Muzzy, so it was a pretty decent crowd. And we just let him. I walk him. I walked through the video with my chat and let him explain a lot of stuff. And bro, I think Evelyn is quite literally the definition of meta. She's not better than Miyabi, but she absolutely is going to be the second best DPS in the game, and she is the best DPS against Fire Week content specifically now. So against Fire Week specifically, she is the new best DPS, but she's not overall better than Miyabi. So that's what puts her behind, which I think is a good thing. I don't think they need to make a stronger DPS than Miyabi right now. We do not need that. But I do think it's okay that Evelyn can beat Miyabi if it's Fire Week specifically. Do y'all think that's okay? I think that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean,
I don't
also
think it's
like
bad.
there's going to be a lot of Fire Week stuff. Like, I mean, even in the tower now, like as you get high up, you'll notice that like there's increasingly more Fire Week enemies as you go high up in the tower and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of been designed around the idea that you might pull a fire DPS, maybe next patch. Huh, who knows?
Mhm.
and it's more than likely going to be the exact same thing with Anby. I don't see them making her better overall than Miyabi, Silver Soldier Anby, but I do see them making Silver Soldier Anby the best DPS specifically against Electric Week, and I am okay with that. As
Yeah.
long as like overall they're not better than Miyabi, if they're better in just this one area, then I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's healthy. But we do not need a better DPS than Miyabi right now. We're not ready for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, as long as I think Miyabi being Void Hunter and stuff, like as long as she is still the best against neutral content, if there was no resistances, no weaknesses, if she's still the best there in that situation, then that makes perfect sense. And then if Evelyn takes the lead, if it's a fire weak content as opposed to Miyabi, again, that makes sense. But it does feel like we're going in a direction that's making things stronger, if that makes sense. Because I would say if something is ether weak, it tends to also be ice weak.
Mhm.
So it's kind of tough to judge whether or not Juyuan would be able to do enough damage.
I I am so glad you said that because okay, so, should we
Go
talk
on.
about this? Yeah, we should talk about.
We should
Let's
talk
talk
about
about it.
this. Yeah.
Um, I'm so glad you said that. like you said, a lot of stuff that's Ether Week is also Ice Week.
Mm-hmm.
They made Evelyn slightly better. It's not even a huge gap, but she is slightly better than Miyabi against Fire Week content. And
Yeah.
again, I think that's okay. And Silver Soldier Anby, they're probably, I'm gonna put my money on the face of the game. Probably she's gonna be better against Electric Week content than Miyabi very slightly. I think that's also okay. Like we just said. But now my question is, the next Ether DPS, whenever we fucking get them, whether it's another Ether attack or an Ether anomaly, whichever one Hoyo does, most people would say, oh, it's going to be an Ether anomaly, but damn, they done made 2 fucking electric stuns. We don't know what the fuck they're going to do, right? They can do anything they want at this point. But the next Ether DPS in general, how are they going to do? Because, like you said, like Ether and Ice, they're usually together.
Yeah.
If they do the exact same thing with Evelyn, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We're trending on dangerous roads.
Yeah, because then at that
Like,
point, like, what's the point?
yeah.
And I think if we're probably still a ways off, like another Ether DPS at this point, because you know they'll just stick around, just making electric stun agents, obviously, and that's fine. I'm joking, of course, but I guess my point is that I think we could be a little ways off, and at that point, we should also be considering the fact that they'll probably add new enemies, so then there'll be different resistances and stuff. So I do think that they need to mix up the enemy resistances types, because I'm kind of getting a little bit bored of weak to electric but resistant against fire, because sometimes I want to run Yanagi DPS and it's really nice running her with Bernice, and that's annoying as fuck that it pretty much always the electric weak enemies have fire resistance. And yeah, I think they need to start mixing it up a little bit so that we can mix up our teams a little bit more, and make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, I still force Bernice and Yanagi together, not gonna lie.
Are you saying like, okay, I'll give you an example. Are you saying like make a new enemy that's physical and Ether weak?
Yeah, just start mixing up the types and resistances, or make an enemy that's electric weak that doesn't have fire resistance. It's just neutral to fire, and maybe it has electric weakness and then ether resistance, for example. And just kind of like mix up with the new enemy types that will eventually come. Like, we know that they'll come. I think that the amount of the selection of enemies that we have in the game right now is kind of limited, and they could even just do it with a skin recolor on some of the existing enemies, so they don't necessarily have to create entire new animations and stuff. They can just change the color of the skin and then change the resistances for those enemies. In fact, I'm pretty sure they did that in the
They
tower.
already do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They do
they
that.
have.
But they still stuck to the same kind of guidelines, where if it was fire weak or electric weak, then it would be resistance to the other one, which is still annoying because it means that it's limiting those teams that you can play. And it would be kind of nice to have a limit in a different way. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying don't limit the teams, don't make us think about it, just make it all neutral. What I am saying though is like actually just mix it up a little bit so that we can run teams that currently don't feel optimal, because currently running Yanagi as a DPS with Bernice and Lucy, for example, feels fucking great. It's a great team, but you're always fighting against the fact that the enemy has fire resistance, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Either one or the other, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means your fire characters are gonna do less days and less anomaly buildup
Yep.
and less damage.
I mean, I'd still play it. It's a great team.
Yeah, obviously.
But
But still, yeah, obviously.
but yeah, it's I'm kind of looking forward to them mixing up some of those weaknesses and resistances.
Yeah, so kind of circling back to the ether and ice weakness.
Yeah, sorry, we
Miyabi
we
was-
tangented so hard, Flossin. You're good. Yeah, bring it back.
No, you're good. You're good. When Miyabi kind of debuted, I kind of told a lot of people that Miyabi is gonna be like the first must pull. Mostly because I felt like Hoyo was actually gonna start doing that, where they're gonna split up ether and ice. So they actually kind of did that in Shiyu. It was like one stage where it was like
Oh.
ice weakness and then physical
Oh,
resistance or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, so that was like the only reason kind of why I really wanted to advise people to grab Miyabi. Because at that time, we didn't know when Ellen was coming. luckily we do know now. So if
Mhm.
somebody missed out on Miyabi, maybe they grab Ellen or Hugo down the line. Who knows? But yeah, we weren't gonna really see Ice plus Ether forever. I really do feel like that as time goes on, our ethereal type agents are going to just be more ethereal based weakness, not with ice anymore. We kind of see it with the bosses already. But yeah, like I think we're still going to see like more of these enemies come out with these crazy resistances or weaknesses. Maybe even have like, I don't know, a boss that comes out, it's got 2 resistances but only 1 weakness or something like that. So it's like you got to run a mono team or things like that. Just something to switch up.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. It feels like it needs a bit of a switch up though, because I'm getting a little bit, what's the word? Not bored, but I just want to mix it up a little bit. I like the idea of the team building stuff in Zenless, and that different characters have got different additional abilities, and you need to think about whether or not you want them to be active. And it would be nice to run some different teams if they started mixing up the weaknesses and resistances a little bit more. Like you said, they have started doing it a little bit, but yeah, let's see more of that. Let's see more of that. Let's go in a different direction. Let's God, let me play my Yanagi team, please. Yeah.
I think it'd also be nice as a different way of, I don't want to say power creep, but like scaling, I guess, because like right now, I think we're all aware the way they make stuff quote unquote harder is they just more HP, which
Yeah.
it's like, is that really a thing? It's because I mean, it makes sense, as we get stronger, they need to up the HP to match it. But then if you're not like doing more damage, like let's say you're not pulling the new DPS, all it is it just means that you're still using the same team. It's just takes longer, like it takes an extra 30 seconds, a minute to, clear a floor. It'd be nicer if the challenge wasn't just, do you have an extra 30 seconds to spare versus, you know, can you get creative and make a new team take on this like new
Yeah.
array of resistances and weaknesses?
Yeah, it's like
which is a lot better.
Yeah, it's like a different way of scaling the difficulty that would make it more interesting. Particularly if they
Yeah.
don't really have that many agents uh that can DPS or like deal damage on that particular type. So let's say if they just went for an ether weakness, then that would mean, oh, okay, right. So it's just ether weakness, and then maybe it's instead of it being ether and ice weak, maybe it's like ether weakness and then ice resistant. So it's like, oh, okay, well I can't run Miyabi here, but then what can I do with the ether weakness? Maybe it's best to run neutral, and then you kind of might have to actually think about it a little bit. Especially if you didn't have like an ether DPS like Juyuan, which we were talking about Juyuan. What were we saying about her before we tangented into this?
I think it was just some like what we were saying, the power creep of the next
Oh.
ice/ether agent is gonna have to be better. Which
Yeah,
means that they're gonna have to somehow be better than Miyabi.
yeah. But I guess as well, what I was trying to get at is that if it was an ether DPS, then it probably leaves Juyuan quite a far away behind. No,
Yeah.
which
Bro,
sucks.
bro.
Yeah,
That word. Oh my god.
What word?
I I think I've heard the word power creep between the ZZZ community, the HSR community, and the Genshin community. Because damn it, I play all 3 games. I think I've heard this word quite literally 1,000 times in the last few months. It's, but I kind of understand because I did have a talk with Jay Stern before. Guys, if you're watching this, go check out Jay Stern. He's a theory crafter. He's very good at what he does. um he did make a strong point. I will agree. He did make a strong point, but I don't think the power creep is egregious right now. That's why I don't think it's something to freak out about. But he did make a strong point. If you took the DPS, every DPS has been released from 1.0, and put them in a tier list, you'd have Ellen, Zhu, Jane. Well, you could argue Zhu and Jane. Like, I know people will argue that, but you could put Zhu, Jane. Who was after Jane? That was DPS.
Bernice.
Bernice, then Yanagi, Miyabi. Miyabi's the only exception. She goes straight to the top, right?
Hmm.
But now on top of Yanagi is now Evelyn, and there's a very strong chance the mascot of the game is going to be on top of Evelyn. And it's just, that is a strong point. I will say, like, it's almost undeniable that every DPS we're getting, except for Miyabi because she was kind of an exception, but every DPS we're getting is reaching a new level every single time. So I understand why some people might be worried about that, but I don't think it's egregious right now to freak out at the moment. But what do you guys think?
See, I made a video about it recently. I don't think it's egregious to freak out about it, but I think it's something that we should be bearing in mind. I think we should be kind of, what's the best way to kind of put it? I don't know. I think we should be thinking about the teams that we're building and how
I think
I'm
you
coming
said
into it. Yeah. You go
no, no.
first.
I think you said it really well in one of your videos. I think you might have touched on it briefly on the rerun video. But it was you kind of said that Zenless is still kind of in its mode of like trying to figure out the power scaling. Like Miyabi was kind of just an exception because that was just a hype character. Everybody kind of wanted her. Everyone knew she was strong, but I still think we are in like the early stages of Zenless where we're still trying to figure out just how strong these agents are going to be. Like I don't think we're just going like next level every patch. Like it's just this character's busted, next character's busted. I really think we're playing into probably not the factions as much anymore, but just the overall power level of how like each three-man team kind of works together. Especially with the release of Astra. I actually have a video that I'm going to be talking about that coming up soon. I really think that these characters so far, they feel strong mostly because we're kind of comparing them to what we already had. But with gacha games, it's like it's kind of inevitable that the 1.0 foundation is gonna kind of get gutted. I'd say not really gutted, but sort of gutted in comparison to when our real power scaling characters kind of come out over time. So it's a tough situation to be in if you like 1.0 characters. I mean, I'm running a standard banner character, so I'm already cooked. But uh I don't know. I don't think we're reaching that point of like insane power creep. Besides like M6 Ellen, like that was just kind of crazy. But
That is crazy.
yeah.
No, wait. For the people who are viewing and don't understand what Flossin's meaning, so it's been calced and proven that M6 Ellen, like in a full ice team, specifically in a full ice team, is weaker than M0 Miyabi,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
that stings. Yeah.
Now Ellen, M6 Ellen with like her best in slot team with like lighter Astra would be about 5 to 10% better. But the fact that that's an M6 limited S rank and you're only 5 to 10% better than dude, Miyabi's built different, bro.
Yeah, she is. But
Yeah.
it does suck for the people who, and they're probably not the kind of people who are watching this video, to be fair, but like it does suck for the people who absolutely simped for Ellen. M6 there on release, was so excited about Zenless, and to be honest, with the idea that a character could come out where we didn't know the element for Miyabi at that time, you know, I think in the betas she was wind, which doesn't exist in Zenless yet.
No, she was ice.
Sorry,
She was ice. in
Sukaku
betas.
was wind, yeah.
No.
Sukaku was the only when Miyabi was ice in betas. I have the footage.
No, she was wind.
No, she wasn't, bro. Wait.
Sukaku was wind.
Sukaku and Miyabi will wind. Both of them will
No,
win.
Miyabi was an
I think it
attacker.
was-
Maybe
I
you're
think it
confusing
was-
that up.
I think
No,
it was your
they
very
also
first,
didn't
like,
have
early-
attack, stun, and
You're straight. Now I
anomaly.
gotta double check. Now I gotta double check because I'm more than certain that Miyabi was ice in beta, bro.
Hey, just because you're seeing blue when she's flashing around doesn't mean that she's ice element. Anyway, yeah, she was classed as wind, and they didn't have attack, stun, anomaly. They had slash, and,
All right, yeah.
and like hit
blunt or something?
Yeah, blunt or something like that. Yeah, they had different like damage types. Anyway, we're getting distracted. What were we talking about? Miyabi, yeah, we didn't even know what she was, right? Because she could have been anything. So it does really suck for people who heavily invested into Ellen. But I do think it's kind of like Flossin and you were saying, Kete. I do think it's a one-off situation. She is supposed to be the Void Hunter. Evelyn and probably Anby too are going to prove the idea that she's not going to get we're not going to continue that power creep train of every single limited DPS being better. But I do think that the earlier units like Flossin was talking about from 1.0, so Ellen and Juyuan, uh, I I think unless we get limited supports that directly buff those guys, I think they might get left behind a little bit for a period of time. Now, I don't think that'll be forever because I think eventually there'll be enough ether, for example, in the game. Let's say we get an ether anomaly agent, and obviously we already got Juyuan, just as an example's sake. And then we get some kind of limited support that does what Nicole does, but better. So, like more ether support, if that makes sense. And it kind of maybe unlocks the ability to bring Juyuan back into the game. But it's kind of like I did say it in my Power Creep video, and kind of collected my thoughts a little bit there. Thanks for jumping in for me, Flossin. But yeah, I think the way that we're going is that we should probably just pick your favorites, stick with your favorites as long as you can, and then kind of transition them in and out depending on how much support they get. And I think you're not going to be out in the cold forever if you're a Juyuan main and you absolutely love the living heck out of Juyuan. Like eventually, like even if she does fall off, they'll probably find a way to bring her back in, and they do that with their other games, however. So I'm kind of hopeful that no one gets fully left behind except for Ellen.
Also, I know we're all ZZZ here, but Honkai Star Rail put out a recent update talking about how they're gonna maybe bring back old units, like kind of buff them. So anything is possible.
Yeah, I did read that, and it's kind of an interesting idea that eventually might make its way into ZZZ. But I think we're still so early on that it's probably not something that we would need to worry about right now. Just if you're listening to this and thinking about, oh, maybe I just need to pull every limited DPS. No. Until you can't clear Shiyu in 2.5 minutes, until you can't clear Deadly Assault, if you don't feel like pulling Evelyn or Anby 2 or whatever upcoming DPS is coming next, don't feel like you have to. Just continue getting the max rewards, and then when you actually can't clear anymore, then look at the options that you have. And at that point, there'll probably be really good limited supports like Astra that probably buff your characters that you want to play more. So yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a bunch, I'm sure, but Astra is a really, really good universal support. She's pretty much the best in slot on every team, which is insane. And it kind of means that you can get away with playing pretty much anything. Are you running Astra with your Soldier 11, Lawson?
I am.
Yeah.
I've been experimenting. That's actually something I'm talking about in my Astra video, is that Astra has kind of broken up the monotony of team building, at least for crit-based teams. Crit kind of felt like you have to have a DPS with a stunner and a support. That's just kind of how it went. But as I've been experimenting more with Astra, I've been taking out my stunner to do double support, and I feel like everybody's kind of seen that double support is insane. But I've also replaced like my other support to see how just she feels like that, and she Astra feels great. Anywhere I put her, she just feels amazing. Mostly because, sorry, go ahead.
No, you carry on. No. I had a question. I'll pause it.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say mostly just because like the quick assist feature, she almost feels like Seth mixed with like a regular support. How it's like you can just go back and forth between the quick assists of your agents. It just feels good. It adds a new dynamic for gameplay. And I really think we're gonna see more agents come out that will take advantage of those things that Astra brings more than the characters we've seen now. And that's kind of why I think we're still in that kind of power scaling for agents.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see.
You're kind of like still establishing a level at this point. Yeah. And when you say you dropped the other support, we did. I think double support with Astra is absolutely goated. It's crazy. It's insane. It's sometimes better than running limited stun agent like Chingy or something. It's so good. But I guess my question was, when you say you dropped the other support, do you mean that you brought in stun, or are you just running Astra plus one other character, Flossin?
I've I've been running Astra with one other character.
What?
It, and she's not as fast, but the fact that she's still competing is kind of crazy.
Okay, so that's how good
Uh,
Astra is. Basically, you don't need double support. Astra is your double support.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Astra can be the double support, but she also elevates the other supports in a crazy way when you put her in a two support dynamic. Just the first thing that comes to my mind is that you can run Astral Voice as well as Swing Jazz in the same team
Yeah.
Oh my
and
god,
get
that's what
that
I'm saying.
uptime.
Yeah, that is so what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it is
Yeah.
insane.
And then coming back to Evelyn, if you have Evelyn there, so now you get Astral Voice and those chain attacks can trigger the swing jazz, so you have like almost near permanent uptime on those. Because like
Yeah.
beforehand, the issue why people started running like Astral Voice on Lucy as opposed to swing jazz is like, oh, swing jazz is only activated once you stun them for the chain attack. Not anymore.
No, yeah, because Evelyn can do the chain attack anytime. So being able to run swing jazz and what's it?
Astral Voice.
Astral Voice. I get my brain isn't working today, guys. I don't know. But yeah, being able to run both of them. Honestly, I thought that was going to be a bigger deal. That was made more of a bigger deal by some of the pre-release videos. But I didn't really see that many people talking about it, to be honest with you. Because I feel like when I was watching it, like a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, double support. Yeah, it's pretty good, I guess." But it didn't really feel like they were making a big deal out of the fact that you can run both of those disc sets and have near permanent uptime with Evelyn. So it's really good though, or it's going to be really good. I don't know. I haven't tested it, but I'm very excited to.
Well, yeah, like I will say, double support was always good since the beginning of the game.
Mhm.
Just throwing that out, like it was always good. But now it's just fucking crazy. I literally have a video coming out soon, just going over every single support paired with Astra, because I got to try out on many people's accounts on stream and off stream. Like for example, like Miyabi, Sokaku, Astra, team is crazy. Yanagi, Rina, Astra, team is crazy. Nicole, Astra with any fucking DPS, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
R2, there's a YouTuber by the name of R2, good friend of mine. He's a Haru main. He told me he absolutely hates it that Haramasa doesn't get his additional ability, and Haramasa's additional ability is one of the better ones in the game. Like it's a really big damage increase for him. It's
Mm.
usually a death sentence to not run his additional ability, right? And he said he absolutely hates it that Astra Nicole is just as competitive sometimes, even though he doesn't get his additional ability because it's just so stupidly strong.
It is so
I-
stupidly good. Yeah.
and it's ridiculous.
Mm.
But yeah, man, Astra, my goat. I got that M2 and 110 pull. I'm so happy.
M2, Whale
Yeah,
the
because I went for
seventh.
I went for M. I went for M1. It took 60 pulls to get M1, like because I got very lucky. And then 2 days later, I did another 10 pull at Zero Pity, and I got another Astra. So she's M2. I didn't spend any money on Astra.
Congrats. Happy for you. Nice. Okay, what's the difference of them two? I almost never
Uh,
look at Mindscapes, honestly.
Well, M1 makes it where every single time you start a battle with her, she gets a free unconditional 1,000 decibels immediately.
Okay.
And also she gives 18% res shred, which is very strong.
That
Um,
seems really good. Yep.
and then M2 gives her extra hits on her cord attacks from off field. So, she applies more anomaly, does more damage, and you also reduce the attack requirement. I think the attack requirement for the full buff goes from 3,429. Someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, down to like 2,968, which is a big difference.
That's a big
And
difference. Yeah.
it also makes the attack buff go from 1,200 to 1,600. So it's very good.
So it takes down the amount that you need to get, and then it gives you more for that amount.
Yes.
That's really
Yeah.
good. Oh, that's actually really good. So does that mean you're going to run crit Astra now?
I gave her as much crit as I could while keeping her buffs, because she's also buffing her own crit damage and attack.
Yeah, but it means that you'd be super safe to run energy regen on her 6 slot, so that she's going to have a lot more energy,
Yeah.
and
It's
you
very,
could
very-
potentially maybe build into her actual personal damage as well. So
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
can already do that. You can already do that at M0. You can sacrifice a little bit of the max attack buff for more personal damage, and it's perfectly fine.
Oh
It
yeah.
actually does better sometimes in some situations. Like as long as she's giving at least 1,000 attack, it's perfectly fine. Both builds are perfectly viable.
Yeah, totally fair. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think we've kind of transitioned into it pretty naturally here. But yeah, any other thoughts on double support? Double support is goated. Did you test Lucy with Astra for your video, Shanaha? I can't remember.
Lucy Astra, I think I did. I don't know if I did that in the Evelyn video, but I probably have before separately.
Yeah, because I was.
But like, yeah, like any, like we were saying, any support with Astra is just really good. I will say though, I know we're talking about, X plus Astra plus support is really strong. It is strong, yes, but I feel like we don't really how do I put this? There's not a lot of chances to actually use that in game. Like it's fun to use and fun to see how strong it is, like in tower mode. But I feel like where it does matter, you probably, unless you have like all the agents, getting ready to go, you're probably better off not hard committing to one team. Like for example, Deadly Assault. Like yes, you can get like 40k points on the one, or like 60k points on the one stage if you do go with that. But then that means you're stripping away both Astra and another support for the other two teams. So it's like, do you have the rest of the agents to still field two sufficiently good teams on the other side?
Yeah, that's true. To be honest, I end up running Deadly Assault with probably suboptimal teams because I want to spread out the good agents to other teams. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, I mean, probably the best team in the game right now would be Miyabi, Yanagi, Astra. Do we think?
Either that
Miyabi,
or like
Yanagi,
Miyabi,
right
Astra,
now.
Nicole.
Yeah, probably. That's probably like, at M0, all things considered, that's probably the
Yeah,
best team in the game. But yeah, I have all three of those characters and I run them all on different parts of the Deadly Assault to make sure that I can 3-star all parts of it. And to be fair, I could run them all together on one, and that would be fun. And I would probably get very high score. But then it would, the fact that Astra can basically carry one team, Yanagi's an incredible DPS in her own right and doesn't need to be limited to a Frostfall stack generator for Miyabi, is also a factor as well. And yeah, it just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's kind of like you said, Shanaha. Yeah, you'll end up spreading them out, even if like the best team is, let's say when Evelyn comes out. Yeah, maybe in Shiyu defense you'll run Evelyn, Astra, Lucy, or something. But then when you get to Deadly Assault, it might be a case of, well, this enemy is Fire Weak, so I could just run Evelyn, Lucy, someone else, and then I could put Astra somewhere else to make sure that I can clear that with 3 stars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or maybe just
You
double
are
support
The
without Astra.
flexibility.
Yeah, maybe just double support without Astra. Just run Lucy, Nicole, or something.
Yeah. AOG, you were talking about Lucy with Astra. April. You all know April, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Makes
mentioned that to me
very
the other
good.
day. Yeah.
Makes very good showcase videos. Most people watching this probably already know who April is, but if you don't, go check her out. She makes very, very, very good showcase videos from the creator server. Lucy Astra performed better than Kaleda Astra.
Yep.
I can believe that.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's colored
yeah.
as also. It's like,
Which breaks my heart because man, now don't get me wrong, Kaleda performed very well, but also her testing was on a Fire Weak enemy, which is perfectly fine. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Fire agent, Fire Weak enemy makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But okay, Muzzy, a lot of his testing was against the enemy we have currently now in Shiyu, that's Electric Weak and not Fire Weak. And Kaleda definitely performs a lot better if the enemy is Fire Weak. Her performance dropped significantly the moment the enemy wasn't fire weak. So if you have to use Evelyn against something that's not fire weak, she'll still clear because Evelyn is just that strong of a character. Like I said, I fully expect her to be the new second best overall DPS in the game. So just because Evelyn is that strong, Evelyn Kaleida will pretty much clear for a very long time. So I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah.
But do know that the performance will drop. That was crazy though. In that April video, she got a 34-second clear with Evelyn Lighter Astra. That shit
Oof.
was crazy.
That is insane.
That was-
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I also think that for oh no, I was going to start talking about reruns, but I don't know if we need to move on to that yet. We can stay on Astra for a moment. But yeah, any other thoughts on Astra now that we've been playing for a while? I know Shanaha, you and I both mentioned it feels like you don't really play her, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of moving. My opinion's changed a little bit. And I kind of feel like she enables something that's really interesting with the quick assist stuff. And I kind of can't wait to see more of that. I also really enjoy playing it because you can kind of turn your brain off a bit more. But it definitely does feel less complicated. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two play styles though for her. My friend Knots showcased this. Yeah, I think that 9 out of 10 players are gonna do exactly what you said. AOG, just put her on the field, let her do her thing. Just go back and forth between your agents. That's perfectly fine. That's what most people are gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend Knots, he showcased a different play style where you actually do like switch her in. Like he switched her in so much, it's like she was literally dancing on the battlefield. Like I'm not even joking. Remind me to leave a link to his clear on Deadly Assault in the description or pinned comment below on the video.
Yeah.
I think people need to watch it because that is absolutely a viable play style. Just spamming the quick assist with her, making sure she has a lot of energy. It quite literally looked like she was on the battlefield just dancing because, like, you know, when you switch her in, you can control how she moves and
Yeah.
with directional inputs. It looked really fucking cool. He did C6 Anton, an M0 Astra, and an M6 Nicole, and he got like almost 50K on Deadly Assault. It was such a cool clear.
That's actually
Like,
crazy.
you should really. I think a lot of people should watch it because it showcases that even an agent like Astra can have a vastly different play style, and I think that's really cool about Zenless.
I actually have been playing around with some ideas around Astra as well. Do you know she has grouping on her
Yes.
Yep.
hold?
On a
Yeah.
hold attack, yeah.
Yeah, I
She
didn't.
has 2 different ways to group.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I've not really seen that many people make a big deal out of it, but yeah, for that starting stage, you know, when you have that little clump of enemies normally on the battle tower or something, she can kind of like bring them all together, which is pretty nice, especially if you start with her if you hold the EX special, which is cool. Yeah, someone in my community pinged me about it, and he was like, "Hey, I know you're not going to make an Astra guy, but this is pretty cool." And I was like, "That is pretty cool, man." And I tried it out a little bit. But yeah, I think that there's like we're discovering more to her. That's kind of the direction I was going. Is we're discovering more to her the more that we play with her. Plus, I do really like playing the quick assist stuff. I'm not feeling bored of it or anything. And is it easier than managing 3 characters? Yeah, but is that also fine? Yeah, that is also fine. And it's not like you don't manage her because you still will, you know, she will ultimate, and she does have stuff that you can use as well. Anyway, Shanna, how are you feeling about her now? Because I feel like sometimes we agree on a lot of stuff. Maybe you're feeling the same way, or maybe you're like, nah, still kind of boring.
Nah, I like so. I mean, like we said last time as well. Like, I still think that she's herself is a little bit like boring play, but like again, she enables so much, and it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with like, oh, you know, the base characters if they get power crept, maybe there's something that comes out later on that makes them more fun to play and stuff like that. And I think that's sort of like what Astra is. And I mean, that's what we were saying. You know, support agents will come out that make older ones more fun to play, and I feel like Astra is still that. I will say though, like Kite was saying, like I was doing tower yesterday, and just because I was switching around so much, every now and then, like I would somehow switch over to Astra. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what are you doing out here? Why are you on the field?
Yeah, get out of
But
here.
it would be nice like to try that out though, of like actually involving her, because I mean, you know, obviously she's a support character, and everyone's like, oh, that's all she should do. But like as KT said, like she can also do damage even without M2, like you were saying, like even at M0, those little what are they called? Tremolos, or whatever. The bolts that she does as you switch in, like obviously they're like a nice bonus. It's not the main thing to her. The main thing is her quick assists and her buffs. But like you shouldn't like neglect them. They do damage. They stack up over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Flossin, how you feeling? I know you said that you've been running her quite a bit. Enjoying Astra?
Yeah. Kind of just to finalize everything, like with the two agents thing. Kete kind of explained it a little bit better. Is that yeah, like you can run her as a quick swap. So with like two agents, of course you're going to be running out of energy a lot more, so that doesn't feel that good. But you like Astra can be more interactive than a lot of people think. Um, she can activate Astra Voice like by herself in a two-man team. Just by quick swapping over and over. You just switch DPS. Your DPS does whatever. It's like you just switch back to Astra. She insta gives the quick assist. Go back into the DPS. It's really fun. And I'm looking forward to the future characters who will benefit from these different skills that we have. For example, quick assist.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for a character like that that's gonna, I don't know, output tons of damage or something through their quick assist. Because that's when we'll really see like team building start to flesh out. But yeah,
It's
Astra's nice.
yeah, it's kind of like with Evelyn. Evelyn's been kind of built around the idea of doing her own chain attacks, right? So she builds up her own buffs, she builds up her own stacks, and then she can do the chain attack, which is great because her scaling on those chain attacks is really, really high. And then Astra also enables her to do more chain attacks, which again, super cool, super awesome, right? So yeah, it's kind of like you said, Flossin. Like, what happens when we get a character that has really high scaling on their quick assist, or what happens if we get I don't know, maybe a stun agent that has really high days on their quick assist. You know, you can run them with Astra, and then your stun agent on the quick assist that you keep activating is then going to be able to keep adding more days. Oh, holy shit, I'm cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be damage. It can be something else. Like, and that does sound really interesting. And I feel like characters like Astra, it's not even necessarily just Astra, but characters like Astra that enable different playstyles, like with the quick assist thing, are going to be really cool as time goes on, and hopefully we see them kind of benefit from that. I imagine at this point, though, what we'll probably get is I think you talked about it on your rerun video, and I made a rerun video recently as well, Flossin, but they'll put them together. So Astral,
Yeah.
Yep.
Astral rerun, and then there'll be this really cool quick assist stun character that Stun the Seventh will simp over, obviously. Or it doesn't have to be a stun character. It could be like another damage dealer, similar to Evelyn or something. But yeah, I think it's cool. It's going to enable a whole bunch of stuff. Very excited, and I'm enjoying Astra. Sorry, more the more I play her.
Or you know what's crazy to me?
What?
In that talk that me and Flossin had hours ago before we got on this call with y'all,
Mm.
I was like, Flossin, bro, isn't
Wait,
it
you
crazy?
can't tell him that part.
No, not that. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. But anyways, I was like, bro, Flossin, one day there's gonna be a support better than Astra, and that's fucking wild, bro.
I mean, that is
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
That is so wild to think about right now because of how good Astra is, but it's HSR all over again. I remember when I first got Raw May, I was like, they can't make someone better than her. And then Robin came out, and I was like, I'll shut up. I'll shut up. Never mind.
Is he still talking? I can't.
I don't
hear
know.
him.
Am I?
No, it sounded
I?
it sounded like you carried on talking, but you kind of moved away from your microphone.
Oh, because my cat jumped on my lap.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Nakamura jump scare
You're down.
IRL.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, we're probably at some point going to get a Void Hunter support character, right? So let's see what comes. I guess as well. I saw a video the other day from I think it was Smacksan. Who's chill, by the way. Yeah, you guys should check him out. He does like discussion-based videos. We'll leave a link to every YouTuber that we've mentioned down below. By the way, that's probably for the best. and he had a video where he was talking about the top 5 characters in the game, and he actually put Astra at number 1 over Miyabi. And you know what?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flossin, how you feeling?
I mean, Soldier should be first.
She's got 2
No,
ones
yeah,
in her
yeah,
name.
Astra
How can she
number
not be
one.
number 1?
Well, it's just more so like it's a Hoyo game, and ever since Honkai Impact 3rd, supports have ran the game. Well, okay, let me not. I stopped playing Honkai Impact 3rd about 2 years ago. Maybe the game has changed, but back when I played, supports ran the game. Genshin, the supports have always ran the game. HSR, the supports ran the game, and it's gonna be the same thing as Zenless. They always make it where the supports are what make or break the game, right? Because you'll see so many people in comment sections of a lot of showcases of like underutilized DPS, like Corin or Ben or Anton, for example, like I was telling you with Knots, and people will always say, "How is your A rank getting more points than me? I have a better DPS." It's like, well, he has the better supports. And at the end of the day, the supports are what make the DPS shine.
And I think
yeah,
I think that's kind of healthy for the game, because it does mean that you can play who you want. In theory, you can still play Soldier 11, you can still play Ellen, you can still play all of these characters, because if your supports are good, then you'll be fine. And we get another limited S rank support who is similar or better power than Astra.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, run them both together, and 1.0 standard unit Soldier 11. Still clearing absolutely fine. Hopefully, in an ideal world. Cool.
Oh, she's
Right.
nowhere, bro. We're nowhere near
I'm
Soldier not being able to clear because
I'm talking like year or so down the line. I'm not saying right
oh
now.
yeah.
I'm saying like
Yeah,
when we get
I
another
agree.
limited S rank support.
But I've seen some soldier clears. I did my own soldier clear before I activate because I wanted to test out M0 Astra when she first came out, and I did my own soldier clear on Deadliest Soul against Pompeii with Well, I didn't use my lighter obviously because mine's M6. That would have been a way too unfair of a test. So I did Kaleda, and she still got 40K with an
Ayo.
M0 Astra. And like
Yeah.
I'm seeing people get like 50K plus with lighter Astra. Maybe my clear was 38. I might have lied. I think it was 38. I don't let me go check.
It's
It was probably
basically
38.
40. It's basically 40.
Basically
Yeah.
40. But I remember Jay Stern he did his Soldier 11 with his lighter and his Astra, and all of his characters are M0. I don't know about his Soldier, maybe his Soldier's M1, but he did that team and he almost got 50K. So like, dude, supports they're so strong. That's why I'm saying like earlier, I can understand why people are saying like, every DPS is kind of being stronger than the next, but the supports are so crazy right now. As long as you can get the supports, it's not that big of a deal right now. Will it become an issue in the future? Only time will tell. But I think it's fine right now.
Yeah. And I think as well, and I did mention this in my Powercreep video, but like prioritizing supports is probably the way to go right now, and kind of just filling out your DPS with whatever you have, especially if you're like a newer player. I think that's probably the way to go. If you care about, clearing, getting to the end game as the fastest you can, or clearing the end game as fast as you can. But again, honestly, you should just pull who you want. Everyone should just pull who
Yeah,
they
at
want.
the end of the
and then,
day, like we're
just
all talking about meta, but like
favorites.
the age-old waifu over meta still holds true no matter what.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
waifu, the fuck? It's stun over meta. The fuck?
All right, stun the
The
7.
fuck? Yeah.
So are we pretty much
Get it
done
right.
chatting about Astra?
Technically, we're not. If you
Astra,
look at the next topic.
No, I feel like that's what I mean. We kind of done that already. Oh no, wait, the Stars of Lyra stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that? I guess we move on from Astra to that. I think we should circle back around to Soldier 11 though, especially to ask Flossen's opinion on some more of that stuff. But just letting y'all know what we're doing. So yeah, let's talk about the Stars of Lyra stuff then. So we had 2 Stars of Lyra characters so far, and it doesn't seem like we're getting any more, definitely in 1.6, unless there's some A ranks that we don't know about yet, but I'm pretty sure they would have announced them already. So do we think we're getting more Stars of Lyra soon or not? guys?
I don't know.
I personally don't think so.
Yeah.
I know people are saying, oh, what about the virtual idols? I think they're going to be a separate thing.
Yeah, I feel like the stars of the idols, they've been referred to by a name.
Angels of Delusion, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the name of their faction. So I don't think that that's the same thing as the Stars of Lyra. I think it's going to be a separate thing. I think you're right with that, Shanna. I also think that both Evelyn and Astra have been built to be, what's the word, like super universal, because Astra only needs a anomaly or attack character. So basically any DPS will work with Astra.
Yeah,
And then Evelyn needs a stun or a support. So essentially,
yeah.
one or the other. Like you could run, I guess you could run double stun with her if you wanted to.
I
But yeah, you could run double support with her. And it seems very unlikely you're going to run her with another damage dealing character like attack or anomaly. You could maybe make an argument for Bernice for Inferno Metal uptime, but even then, you're still going to run a stun or support in that third slot, right? So any coherent team they kind of work with, which kind of makes me feel like we might not be getting another Stars of Lyra for a while, because they've kind of planned for the fact that these two are really universal. What do you all think?
I don't know, but I don't know what you're talking about. My stun DPS are fucking shit up. I don't need no anomaly or attack with my Astra.
Okay. Well, M6 lighter over there. Flossin, what are you thinking?
Hey, M1 Shingi. Thank you.
I with the way that they've built up the lore between Evelyn and Astra, I honestly don't see them adding any other agent. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they add another later on, just so you can say that you can run a 3-man Stars of Lyra.
Hmm.
But the dynamic between the two, it kind of just feels like they're just like two peas in a pod, and
Yeah,
then
like
whoever you
story
want
as
to
well.
add in. Yeah. So I don't know. Like at first I was a little bit hesitant on the idea, but it works. It's nice. So I don't really have any issue with it.
Yeah. I feel like I have a little issue with it.
But that there's
Okay.
not a third one.
Yeah, I do think it sucks that there's not a third one. Just from a lore and story and like from a fun perspective, I like the idea of like building faction teams and having faction teams run together.
Just
I
run
think
those two and just have Snap. There you go. There's your third member.
yeah. Bamboos don't count. Although Snap is goated, by the way.
Yeah.
But
That
anyway,
is something that intrigued me. Is that Snap is coming out, but it's weird because not everybody's gonna get Astra and Evelyn. So it's like, what is this Bangbu kind of really for?
What are you
You
talking
know?
about? He's the best bang boo in the game, even if you don't activate his additional ability.
yeah, because his
His
additional
additional
ability
is
is just
like-
healing, right? But
Yeah,
his
but
Yeah.
his 10%
gives a
damage
damage
buff.
percent.
Yeah, his 10% damage
No.
buff is
6.9.
is what?
Would just it's only 6.9 with one copy.
Oh, his potential 10% damage buff.
Yeah.
With 5 snaps or 6 snaps.
Okay.
Is
He's still good.
yeah, he still gets that. He's very good.
No, yeah, bro. Snap
Well,
is just
I'd
fucking crazy.
I'd
good.
say like putting away like all like the charts and numbers there, like what ALG said, like from a fun standpoint.
Yeah.
Kind of having like two in one team, kind of feels nice. So
Yeah.
just being able to run that Bing Boo. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't have anything against having 2 agents in Lyra, but it
Mhm.
would be nice to have a third.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I agree, and it also would give Snap more options in terms of how you can run him. I guess you, like Kete was saying, you can run him with anyone because he still gets the damage buff. But I do agree from like a fun perspective, it would be nice to have a third element there in the Stars of Lyra team. And it's kind of like I think we've all kind of said it. I don't think we're getting one, and I think that sucks a little bit. But I wonder if maybe we'll get more Stars of Lyra story. Maybe not for a while, but maybe when we do get more Stars of Lyra story, they'll kind of add in a new member because they've done that before with Nekomata and the Cunning Hares. From like a lore perspective, they kind of adopted her, right? So I wonder if maybe we might get that with the Stars of Lyra, and it might not be for a while, maybe like 2.1 or something. I don't think it'll be a big update thing, but it'll be, oh, it's a Stars of Lyra side story situation again, and oh yeah, we get to hang out with Astra and Evelyn again. Oh, and they're bringing in this other character who's gonna, you know, she does the choreography for Astra's dancing or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
Again,
Yeah.
speaking of lore, so tinfoil hat time. So when we first found out about like Snap, I guess, and then potentially Astra, remember like Astra was speaking through Snap, and the whole purpose of why we met her in the first place was that she was saying, "Oh, one of my I forget the exact phrasing, but it was like intelligent construct or virtual construct or something like that was trapped in the VR world." Maybe that was Evelyn. Maybe that's a potential third member.
oh
And then,
yeah,
as you were saying, Gamer, with like the potential future stories, spoilers, I guess, for the Bangbu event that's been happening now. But that whole story point of Hugo like potentially stealing that one disc out of her staff or something like that, that's something that they've like introduced as a plot point that we don't know when that's going to come into play, because obviously we know that the next patch is going to be Obol Squad. Maybe when they somehow revisit this, when they introduce Hugo Vlad and stuff, they'll come back to it and be like, "Oh, Astra, we need to come help you save and find your record disc." And then maybe that's when they reintroduce the Stars of Lyra in lore wise in the plot, and then maybe there's also a new agent there.
yeah, yeah. I could see that happening. I do hope we get a third, though. That's what I'm saying. I could see us not getting a third for a while, but I do hope that we get a third.
Hmm.
Are we basically saying that the same thing that happened to Pulcra is going to happen with the Stars of Lyra? Like, Bernice was like, "Hey, yo, Pulcra,
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to Sons of Caledon."
Yeah,
That's really
it's a
well kind of
sure,
strange, because
yeah.
like the thing is, Pulcra is an A rank, so like again, coming back to how the next patch is probably going to be a Obol Squad. I'm curious to see if they're going to have anything for like Pulcra related in the story, or are they literally just throwing it in as like a freebie, well, not a freebie, but like just like, oh hey, by the way, she's also an A rank now, or is it actually going to be like relevant to the story somehow?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I could, I don't know if she needs it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
But
as an A rank especially.
as an A rank, especially, yeah. But I wouldn't mind if we got like a little Pulcra interlude, or Pulcra maybe turns up at random play, maybe as part of an event or something. Even just give her a little bit more screen time. I don't.
Well,
But maybe we get it, maybe we don't. I don't know if she needs it necessarily. Kete?
the last A rank that was added was Seth, and Seth got a lot of screen time.
He did. He did, to be fair. Yeah, that's true. But then he got added as he got introduced, whereas with Pulcra, I mean, she's been introduced since 1.3, so it does feel a bit different. Let's put it that way. It does feel a bit different.
yeah. This all kind of makes me think that Obol, like just Anby in general, is going to be a lot more fleshed out down the line. Like I think 1.6 is kind of just introducing the idea of Obol Squad, like kind of just finally dipping their toes into the lore. But I don't think it's going to be like a start to finish kind of thing. I definitely think we're going to see more of them fleshed out as the time goes on, especially with Anby being, the face of the game. So
Yeah, I do kind of think though, from a story perspective, in 1.6, I feel like we're tangenting pretty hard here, but that's fine. From a story perspective in 1.6, I am excited to see Obol Squad in action in some way, and I kind of hope we get the Obol Squad moment that was missing from 1.4. When it's spoilers for 1.4, I guess. But that there was a big moment towards the end. I'm sure most people have played it at this point, but there was a big moment towards the end where a lot of the characters come together. But Obol Squad was missing because we only have Soldier 11 at that point, and she doesn't really feel like she's integrated with the main cast that much. I mean, yeah, she had her story quest and stuff, but it's just been her, not Obol Squad. So I'm kind of really hopeful that when Obol Squad come in with Anby 2 and Trigger, that it kind of feels like they integrate a little bit more, and then they're kind of part of that Avengers Assemble moment where everyone gets together. Do you know what I mean? When maybe when 2.0
Yeah.
rolls around and we get another big story beat, like a big story beat, then Obol Squad, they've been introduced and they're part of the gang now.
yeah,
I'm hopeful for that. Cool. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about, guys? Did we I feel like, have we done everything? I said we'd circle back around to Soldier 11. So yeah, what do we think I feel like we kind of naturally transitioned into it a little bit anyway. But what do we think the new characters mean for the future of Obol Squad? Do we think that Soldier 11 is going to be supported well by Trigger, or are we kind of in the position where Soldier 11 still might not have her best support because Trigger's probably been made to support Anby too?
Whoa. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. I think I might need you to like explain what you mean by that, because what Lighter does for Soldier is incredible. Like, he is her best support. Um, like, he does a lot. And this is not me being like a Lighter glazer. This is just the truth. Like, if you compare a Soldier 11 run in Deadly Assault with Lighter and without him, it is a massive difference. That is an objective fact. So, like, what do you mean, like, she won't have her best support? Like, she already has a perfect support.
No, I just mean, is she going to get is Trigger going to be good with her, do we think? Is there
Oh,
going to
well,
be a
that's
way
what I
to
was
run,
saying.
kind of like we were talking about a Stars of Lyra team? Does Soldier integrate with either of these characters at this point?
In my opinion, Trigger would be a good option for her, but I don't see her being better than Lighter. When you see what everything Lighter does for Soldier, and like I was telling Flossin, it's very important. Well, you don't have to, but it's very nice, I should say. That's the better word. It's very nice. It's like a very nice quality of life
Mm.
when your stun agent is the same element as your DPS, because um, your stun will then do more days damage. So he just fits her so perfectly. And like you said on when y'all were talking about earlier, unless they decide to start switching up elemental weaknesses, we don't know for sure if they're gonna do that or not. I mean, we hope they do, right? I agree with
Yeah.
y'all. I hope they start mixing it up, but we don't know.
Mm.
And right now, I just can only go off of what we have in the game, and most of the things that are weak to fire
Yeah.
are electric resistant, and that just hurts that synergy immediately.
I
So
think
I have no
I'd
idea.
say I'd say unless Obol Squad is gonna get a fourth member that will just directly be a buff for Soldier, Hoyo would be shooting themselves in the foot if Trigger can't work with Soldier at this point. Um, and I kind of told this to Kete too, that like if Trigger just has basically zero synergy with Soldier, I am going to be very disappointed.
Okay.
um,
Um.
because I just I understand that, you know, Amby and Trigger, they're both electric, so they're naturally gonna work together. But I really feel like uh, I don't know. It just doesn't feel fun, in my opinion, to release like this whole squad and then it's like Soldier's still isolated in her own squad. You know what I mean?
that's
So
yeah, that's the
I
kind of
don't know.
direction that I'm thinking about it as well. I think that that's a potential reality. Is that even though she's getting these characters, I mean, we're getting an attacker and a stunner. And it's kind of like Kete said. I imagine the stun will still be good with her in some way, but in the same way that Ching Yi would still be good with her, but probably still not better than Lighter. So I think,
It's
yeah, go on, Kete.
No. No. You finish. You finish.
I forgot what I was going to say. It's fine.
Oh man, my fault.
That's okay. But yeah, I think she could end up still being isolated. That's kind of the direction that I'm going, is that I feel like
Mhm.
we've been waiting so long for Obol Squad to come in and kind of save Soldier 11, our DPS on the standard banner that kind of when the game started, everyone was pretty high on. And, kind of said that she was maybe the best pick for a DPS on that standard banner because we had Neko too. But yeah, everyone was pretty high on Soldier 11 coming into the game. And I remember seeing stuff around her timing mechanic and people saying that if you could actually hit that, then you could do pretty similar to Ellen damage output numbers, M0 versus M0. And it feels like we've been waiting for Obol Squad to kind of wade in and not save her necessarily, but give her some options, give her some really good team options that are also like lore appropriate as well. And it feels that based on what we're seeing so far from Obol Squad, I mean, it seems very unlikely that Anby, who's another attack character, is going to work well with her. And Trigger, it's kind of like we already said as well, has kind of the anti-synergy with the fire weakness equals electric resistance kind of situation. So as much as they're probably going to be okay Trigger will probably be okay to run with her. kind of feels that we're getting Obol squad in, but it doesn't really mean that we can use Soldier 11, and that
I
sucks.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's very similar to lighter, because people when they found out he was a stun before we knew what his kit did, we were expecting him to buff fire damage automatically and physical because the Sons of Caldon
Yeah.
are fire and physical.
Ah, yeah, true.
Yeah.
The motherfucker is ice. Right?
Yeah,
So it's very similar to him, right? Like you can definitely run Piper and Lighter together. I've seen people do it and get pretty decent clears, but it's by no means is it Piper's best team, right? It's like it works, but it's by no means is it her best team. I feel like it's going to be the exact same thing or Trigger. Like Trigger and Soldier 11 are going to work together, but it's not going to be better than Lighter. Like everything Lighter does for Soldier, there's just I just can't see it, man, because I think that is honestly unhealthy for the game. Because think about it. Soldier is an on-field DPS, right? She doesn't want to wait till the stun window to start doing her damage, just like Ellen Joe and just like an anomaly character, right?
Mm.
Um, she's the complete opposite of a character like Juyen. If you run a stunner with Juyen, if you run a stunner with her, she wants to be off field the whole time, or majority of the time, right?
Yeah.
I think that's actually very unhealthy to the game if Trigger. I understand your pain, Flossin, because I do understand you want to run Soldier and Trigger together, but I do think that's very unhealthy if you could run Trigger and Soldier together, and even if the boss was electric resistant, it outperformed Lighter. Because then at that point, why the fuck is Lighter a character? You know
No,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I'm not really too worried about like if Soldier's best team is going to be Obol squad. I don't really care about that because we've kind of seen like I mean Harumas's best team has nothing to do with Section 6, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's nothing that really bothers me. It's just the whole thing of like having a squad, but it's like there's nothing that you can basically do with them. Like even though Haramasa doesn't really want to play with Section 6, it's like you can still run an electric team with like Haru, Yanagi, Rina. Like the option is still there. And I'm probably coping when I say this, but you know, Trigger isn't fully uh kitted out yet. Like we don't know everything about her. We who knows? Like maybe she buffs electric plus fire. I don't know. It could be a possibility. Kind of just pulling anything at this point, but I I I just don't I can't see a world where they add these two agents or at least they add Trigger and it's like she has nothing to do with Soldier, especially with the whole cutscene of like Trigger coming in and saving Soldier, all of that. Like
Yeah.
it would just lead to a buildup of disappointment in my eyes.
Yeah. I kind of I'm right there with you. I kind of want them to work together. Just from what we've had so far and the interactions that we've had so far, and Trigger being the super sniper, and also we've spoken to her in the game before, and she's been complimentary about Soldier 11 in some way. I seem to recall. It's very vague. Shanaha, you can probably remember more. But yeah, it feels like yeah we're getting Soldier's squad, but maybe they don't even work with her. Shrug. I don't know. It feels a
Well,
bit
I mean,
weird.
see,
coming back
like,
to law as well,
Yeah.
like it's a very small thing. Like firstly, I doubt they would do this, but like I doubt they would do like a team up attack like how Ben and Collar have. But the next best thing, I suppose, is those little like quips that you get when you switch between characters from the same faction. You know,
Yeah.
they like they literally call out to each other and stuff like that, which is really cute and really fun. So like it'd be nice to have that like to have a reason to want to put them together to hear those little interactions as you switch between like Trigger and Soldier and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. I
well,
guess. Go on, Kathy.
yeah, but I want to be clear. I'm not trying to say that Trigger won't work with Soldier. I just think that
Mhm.
Trigger will work with Soldier. It just won't be Soldier's best team.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mm.
man. Yeah, you said what you said. We heard you.
Yeah, you hate Soldier. We heard you.
Oh, actually, no, joke's on you. I have a pretty big Obol Squad video planned for when I get all of them. So joke's on you. No, I'm in the process of maxing out my soldier. Like I got to get all her skills from 11 to 12 now.
I should have done it day one, man.
Oh, okay. Is there anything else we want to touch on, guys? I feel like it's yeah, it's been a long one. So is there anything that we kind of skimmed over on the run that we feel like we want to go back to? I feel like we've had a good old yap.
I think we can really quickly just go down the line, make it short and sweet. What we expect the reruns to be, for the next live stream.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I don't really have any predictions. I'd say the only real one is like GUN. I kind of agree with ALG that GUN is probably going to make a return soon, mostly because of Chingy.
Mm.
That's kind of the reason why I've been thinking about grabbing Chingy, because I might want to heavily invest into that team's future. Maybe grab Mindscapes for GUN later on, just so when that next Ether agent comes out that's DPS, at least my GUN won't be fully left behind. It's like she doesn't have Chingy and, she's M0 or something like that. GUN is like the only one that I could see them slotting in, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go way out left field. I already know I'm gonna be so wrong, but wouldn't it be crazy if I was right?
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be either Jian or Jane first half and Caesar second half.
That's actually exactly what I was gonna say as well. I was gonna say
Uh,
Jane Caesar.
Yeah, I think it'll be Caesar first half, because of the Pulchra coming in. It will make sense from like if Pulchra gets any kind of story beats, it would make sense to have Caesar or Bernice there on the first half. That's my thought process on that. And then on the second half, I think it'll probably be GUN. She kind of needs it at this point, and it's kind of like Flossin said, he's been thinking about getting Chingy. Yeah, it kind of means that they can double dip on Chingy, because Chingy's going to be a good option with Evelyn. Double support is good. Just run double support. But Chingy will be a good option with Evelyn. And then when we get the live stream announcement and it'll be like, oh, and Ju Yuan's coming back, then it's, more people will probably pull for Chingy because be like, oh, this is her stunner. I'm going to pull Chingy.
Oh,
So it kind of lets them double dip on Chingy, if that makes sense, because the
oh,
live
that's
stream.
what you meant.
Sorry?
Oh, I thought you were. I thought you meant. I thought you were gonna go a different direction when you said double dip. I wasn't expecting you to say Evelyn. Honestly, I was expecting you to say Haru because like a lot of people pointed out that
Yeah, that's true
it
as well.
makes sense
Yeah.
for Shingi to be in this patch because people just got a free Haramasa and
Yeah.
give him his best in slot stunner.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, start of the second half of 1.5. It's the Haramasa mains are going to pull Chingy. People who have pulled Evelyn, who maybe are sitting on a whole bunch of pulls, might also consider pulling Chingy as well, because Chingy will be okay with Evelyn. She will work well with Evelyn, right? It won't be as good as Lighter. Maybe not as good as double support, but we'll talk about that later when we can actually do some proper testing. But then following that, then the live stream announcement comes like a week and a half before the end of that banner. And if they announce Ju Yuan for the 1.6 reruns, then it means like, oh, we've got Qingyi right now. And it's like, well, it's, it feels like that's what they're going to do. So yeah, I feel like we probably are getting Ju Yuan. But I did also mention in my video about reruns that I could see them doing Yanagi.
Yeah.
But
I think it's
if they do Caesar. Oh, you go.
No, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say the reason I said it could be Jane as well instead of Jian because if they decide to put Caesar, that's a great time to put Jane too because you know
Yeah.
how evil they are putting putting these
Yeah.
characters beside each other.
Yeah, so true. Yeah. That does kind of make sense though. Yes, if they do Caesar, then do Jane. They're kind of back to back two characters that work really well together, and which they're also
And
doing.
then also
with
like I think
Anby.
I don't know if Kato had the similar thought to me, but like the reason why I at least said Jane just as an anomaly character is like if they do Shien, that's like 3 attackers that we've gotten in recent, with Evelyn and then Anby and then Shien as well. So I feel like you might be right. They might still put Shien for the double dipping of Qingyi, but then maybe they don't want to go too hard on like triple dipping on attackers. So maybe they say, okay, well, maybe if they don't want attackers, let's give them an anomaly option instead. That's at least my thought for that pick. And then obviously Caesar, you don't want to have two anomalies at the same banner, and there's not many other supports, so the next best thing would be a Caesar, to at least diversify the options that people have to pull.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they all they could all make sense in their own ways.
Yeah.
But yeah. You're right though, that is 3 attackers. But that's why they wouldn't run they wouldn't rerun her in the first half with Anby. That's my thought. I think they'd rerun her in the second half.
Wouldn't it be 4 attackers? Because it'd be Ellen, Evelyn, Samby.
Oh, Ellen as well.
Oh, Ellen
from
as well. Yeah.
The first rerun.
You're right.
4?
Oh wow, yeah.
Attack meta. Here it comes.
I
Anomaly's
hope
dead.
you got your Astra ready.
Yeah.
The one I'm gonna bet on the most is Caesar. I'll be shocked if it's not Caesar in the 1.6
Yeah.
reruns.
Yeah, I think to be honest, that's whether or not I am interested at all in picking up any of the Obol squad is probably whether or not I'm interested in the reruns as well. So if it is Caesar, then I'll be grabbing Caesar and ignoring Anby 2, for example. But yeah, cool. All right, should we wrap up, boys? Anything else? Any last thoughts?
Nope, just thank you to my good friend Flossin. Thank you for coming on, man. We gotta get you on in the future again, brother. Appreciate you coming.
Yeah, dude, thank you for letting me be here, especially for Obol Squad. Yeah, this is a faction I've been waiting on, so it's great to yap about them with some great content creators.
Yeah, it was great to have you. It was good to have your opinions and thoughts on the Soldier 11 stuff as well. So thanks very much. And you all should go check out Flossin's stuff. He's too modest, but his videos are really good, interesting discussion points and stuff. So you should go check out Flossin's stuff. Anyone listening to this, should we pimp our own stuff? I just did it for Flossin, but we'll come back to you in a sec, Flossin, and you can tell us about any other stuff as well. Shanaha, where can people check out your stuff?
Shanaha on YouTube and Twitch as well for all your daily or weekly, I suppose, news needs. And also, fun fact, I'm hosting a photo competition using that new in-game event where the winner can receive up to like 3,000 monochrome, which is enough to buy the Astra skin and even the Ellen skin and much more. So check that out.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I don't know if I can take photos in that photo mode. I just spend most of it looking at Evelyn. So very distracted. Kate, where can people...
No. Looking where?
What?
Looking where at Evelyn?
What? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
You were looking at that. God, weren't you? Yeah, that shit fat, ain't it? Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, check me out on Cat to the 7th. We're gonna do a giveaway for Evelyn on stream. Evelyn or Shingy, whoever wins, they can pick. Hell, we might do 2. It depends on how gracious I'm feeling. But I stream multiple times a week. Got a great Discord. Trying to hit 1,500 members soon. So great Discord. Come check it out. Chill community. Yeah, just come on over.
Sick. And Flossin, where can people check out some of your stuff?
Yeah, you can find me youtube.com/Flossinonyou. On that very same page, I have my Discord linked in there. We've got a small community. It's around 700 people. Majority of them are Soldier 11 cultists, but we have a great community for anybody that's new or veteran. You can just come out, hang out with us, have a good time. So,
hey, maintaining the agenda. Did I see you were going to start streaming soon as well?
Yes, I am. I'm going to be streaming on YouTube as well as Twitch. Twitch is the same name, .tv/Flossinonyou.
See, you're too modest. You got to pimp your stuff, Flossin. Pimp your stuff.
I had to bully. Yo, LG,
I
you
know.
don't understand. I had to bully this man to start streaming. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Please
Yeah,
stream.
I saw his post the other day and I messaged him and I was like, do it. It's going to be pretty fun. You should do it. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. And lastly then, I've been Average Luck Gamer. You can find me Average Luck Gamer at youtube.com and Avluck Gamer at twitch.com. So I might change that at some point, but for now it seems fine. Yeah, that's all me. And you can also check out my Discord. It's linked on the YouTube and the Twitch. And we're going to have some fun stuff coming up. We'll be pulling Evelyn live on stream for a bunch of viewers, plus account reviews and stuff. If you're interested in any of that, you should join the Discord. And then lastly, guys, you should like and subscribe on this video. If you have made it almost 2 hours in and you've enjoyed, then like and subscribe, Losing the 50. And you can also drop us a follow over on Spotify as well. So if you're on the go and we drop a new episode, then you'll be able to get it wherever you are. So thanks very much for listening. It's been real. I've been Average Duck Gamer, and we've been joined by Flossin, Kete, and Shanaha. It's been a real good episode, boys. Everyone say goodnight.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.